Luke is looking for a second date update. He went on a date with Marissa. He'd like to see her again. She's not responding to his calls or texts, and we're going to try to help him out. Hi, Luke.
Hey, guys. It's awesome to talk to you. I've been a big fan for a long time now.
Well, thank you. We're happy to have you. Can you take us to the beginning? Like, start with how you met Marissa, and then we'll go from there?
Yeah. This is actually a little strange for me. I don't usually need a lot of help in the dating department, but this situation, she just got into my head, and it's kind of making me nuts.
Interesting.
I met Marissa online, and, we decided to finally meet. We had actually been talking for a while, and we just decided to meet up at a park. And when we first met, I could, instantly tell it was just, great vibes. I just knew I wanted to continue the date because it was going to be good, so I decided to take her out to dinner. And we ended up going to Mita's because I wanted to take her somewhere nice. We had some tapas. It was, really, really good. The dinner was great, and the conversation was great, and I felt like we really connected, and I really don't know what happened. We laughed. It was good. So I really thought, something was going to come from this, and I thought she was going to actually invite me in when I dropped her off, but she didn't. She initiated a hug, and that was it. I told her I'd see her again, and she said, great. So I said I'd call her, and I have, and I haven't got any response back, and I don't want to, overbear her with my calling, so
Right.
I really just don't know what to do at this point.
I love the park date. That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
I mean, we had been talking for a while, and we talked about how much we love the outdoors, so it was kind of like a perfect first meetup.
Well, anything else you can think of that might have gone wrong? Like anything that could have possibly been misunderstood on the date that would prevent her from calling you back? Does she have pet baggage from past relationship that she hasn't quite buttoned up?
Not that she's told me. As far as I'm concerned, I've been on a lot of dates, and that one was as close to perfect as it can get. It really was great, and nice. I am just, so I have no idea what could have gone wrong.
All right, why don't we take a break? When we come back, we'll call Marissa and see what she really thought of Luke and her two meetings with her at the park and at Mita's as Second Date Update continues. Luke and Marissa had talked for a while before meeting up in person. Their first date was at a park. They both like the outdoors, great opportunity to get to know each other, and they made more of a formal date where they had dinner at Mita's, and that went fantastic.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Great place for a date. So he's confused as to why she's not responding to his texts or phone calls. He's tried to reach out to no avail, and here we are. Anything else, Luke? Did I gloss over anything important?
Nope, that's about it.
All right, let's call her.
Hello?
Hello, Marissa.
Yeah, who's this?
It's Jeff and Jenn at Q102. How are you this morning?
I'm good. Is this going to be second date update?
Would that be okay? You're very popular,
I mean, I guess so.
Are you seeing anybody right now? Like, are you involved in a serious relationship? Are you dating multiple people? What's your current situation right now?
No, I am very, very single.
Very single.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you went on a date with Luke recently. You guys were at Mita's, and you've gotten together a couple of times, as I understand, correct?
Yeah.
And the last time you saw him was at Mita's.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you think that date went?
I mean, I thought he was a pretty good guy. I was definitely into him until the bill came.
What happened when the bill came?
He literally took out a calculator to calculate the tip because he didn't want to give a penny over 15%. And he went on this rant about like tipping fatigue and how he's sick of being expected to give servers, or anybody who is supposed to be tipped like more than that. And he got like kind of worked up about it when he was explaining like his stance to me. And honestly, he just sounded like a dick, especially to me. Like, I used to work in a restaurant. I know how hard it is and what it's like to get like a shitty tip. Mm-hmm. And it was just a deal breaker for me. I did not like his attitude at all. And I just think how people treat servers and service people, it is very important to me.
Yeah. The whole tipping thing aside, like, how was his behavior? How was his demeanor with the server?
I mean, it was fine before that, but it's just like, for me, like, also like he thought automatically that I'd agree with him. And it was such a turnoff. Like, it just killed it for me.
Oh, interesting.
I have a friend who will always subtract the tax. You're not tipping for the tax.
Oh.
Wow.
And if we're out together, we'll remind everybody, because, we're all paying our own bills. We'd be like, hey, remember to take the tax out before you figure out your tip.
Yeah.
I've actually been out with other restaurant people and people who work in the hotel industry that say the same thing, which is surprising coming from them.
They do?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, depending on how big your bill is, I mean, it can if you go to a fancy restaurant where you're spending $150 or $200 per person on your meal, I mean, the tax on that is a significant chunk.
Yeah, that's interesting. So 15% is your hard limit. Is that right, Luke?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but I didn't realize that you were one of those people. Like, you just throw your money around to anyone and everyone who wants a dime, and it's whether they deserve it or not. And that's the problem. If you earn more tip because I got some kind of like exceptional service, that's one thing. But like, I am a watcher of my bank account. I watch it like a hawk, and I definitely want to be with somebody who is fiscally responsible. So I don't even think this would work anyway.
Did you learn that from your family? Like, did your mom and dad do that growing up?
My mom did.
100%. My dad only shops for sales. He never pays MSRP. 100%, I learned it from my dad, and it helps me. It helps me get the things I need to get because I have the money for it, and it's just the way I am.
Wow, you guys are so far apart on this, and the date went so well.
Well,
I mean, it is what it is. It's not even a significant amount of money. Like, for you to insinuate that I'm fiscally irresponsible is ridiculous. I just actually care about people, so we're just different.
You say that it's not an insignificant amount of money, but you do that 3 times a week, 52 times a year. It adds up, and over the years, that amount of money can add up to something that you dream about, like a dream vacation or an improvement in your home, something like that. That's how I'm always thinking. And if that's not how you think, that's not how you think. And like I said, it just won't work out.
I tell you what, my mom was a tough customer. She was very high maintenance. It was like Meg Ryan ordering with her, very specific, I want this on the side, and can you make it this way? And she would send it back if it wasn't perfect. She was always nice and polite. She's just high maintenance.
So you better leave a good tip.
Right, you would think, but she would never leave more than 15%. It had to be exceptional service. I was always so embarrassed. I'm like, Mom, you got to leave more than that.
Was she one of those people that did it's breakfast, so it's a less percentage?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
All your friends that deduct the tax, they're right. They should be deducting the tax.
Wow. Okay, well, not a match, obviously. I'm sorry.
Definitely not.
No.
Okay. It's a mutual parting of the ways. It's interesting, the deal breakers, though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
My concern would be if he's nickel and diming over a tip, what life would be like living with him on the day-to-day when it came to purchasing anything.
Yeah, if he's nickel and diming now, imagine how it'll be when you guys are getting divorced and negotiating a settlement. And child support and everything else.
I mean, can you imagine, negotiating buying a house? Or going to get a new car, or even purchasing clothes.
I mean, you kind of went through that a little bit too, right?
Don't get me started. A little bit.
That's why when Chris and I, we watch House Hunters together, and we always check to see, like, do we agree on the same philosophy, like the same attitudes of the buyer, which one we would pick out of the three. And price is always a big one because what his price range is versus her price range are sometimes two completely different universes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you both for coming on Second Date Update. I'm sorry we couldn't get it together. Probably just as well. Luke, we appreciate you putting yourself out there. And Marissa, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Still a big fan. Thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Appreciate that. Yeah. These couples, like, I was watching one where he wants modern. He wants to be in the city center. And he wants a modern vibe.
Okay.
She wants to be out in the country with a more
she wants some
like
land.
Traditional. Yeah.
Does she want land? Because that's a whole nother level too. You got people that like the suburbs. You like people that live in, more like they have a quarter or 3/4 of an acre.
Maybe they want a little elbow room from their neighbor.
And then you got people that want land.
Yeah.
You got people that want 20 acres that they build their one house on, and then they have their 20 acres.
Sometimes, but there's always like, it just seems like every single couple they feature on these shows want completely opposite things in every case.
Yes.
And in every situation, we're just looking at these, like these two they're never going to work.
Yeah.
They want such vastly different things.
They should have talked about this before they coupled.
No, but it's a good test because when we watch the show, we both, most of the time, agree. Oh, God, no, I would never. No, I would want to live there. And it's like, phew, okay, we're going to be fine.
We'll make it work.
Yeah.
We'll be okay.
Right. I remember Scott said,
funny.
So we have 3-ish acres. And I remember Scott said the same thing. He was like, don't you just want to get like 20 acres out in the middle of the county and live in the middle of it? And I'm like, if I move, I'm going closer to downtown. Like, I want to be by the city.
Yeah.
Hanging, like, I want accessibility to be able to walk around a city.